Hello, welcome to 15 Minutes of Consulting Best Practices. My name is Maria Isabel Rios, and I'm joined today by David A. Fields. Hello, David.
Hello, Marisabel. Makes my day better just to see you.
Likewise, and to be here. So, in this space, we answer your questions about your consulting firm to make your life at leaders more delightful, more fruitful, and overall more satisfying for you. So, submit your questions as we go. Add your learnings, your knowledge, your points of view to the discussion as we're having it. Takes a minute for us to see the comments. So, be patient if we don't respond right away. This works because you send us your questions, and therefore we can answer it straight to your needs. So, having said
Yeah,
that,
yeah, and
Deidre, can
definitely
you?
and definitely ask questions live. If you have anything on your mind, ask them because for us, it's also fun to see what just comes in spur of the moment. Um, as fun as whatever Deidre has in her magic grab bag. So
All
sorry,
right,
Marisabel, I interrupted you.
you're good. Let's get to it.
Okay, who wants to do this one? You want to do whatever this is, or want me to?
Sure, I'll do
Okay.
it.
Okay. We're trying to get people to take a short survey so we can get them on our list. We've sent an invitation to our list, but no one other than our friends have signed up. Mom and a couple of friends. All right. How do we get better uptake? Andre. All right. That's pretty interesting. So they're trying to get people on their list using a survey. Survey is a nice device to
Right,
expand your
correct.
network. They invited their list and somehow folks aren't signing up. So what do you think, Marie Isabel?
Right. So thank you, Andrea, for your question, and good on you for taking the initiative, right,
Yep.
to create engagement through a survey. We are short because it usually happens that you've thought a lot about what to ask and how to ask it. It seems, though, in reading your question, how you wrote it, that there's a little bit of a design problem because you state that your objective is to grow your network. Yet it seems you're starting with a list of folks who are already in your network. So, unless I missed something, that's a little bit of why you're getting a little bit of an echo response, right? It's like an echo chamber. However many people are already there, then you're getting a portion of them, as it will normally happen, to respond and take the survey. So, a couple of ideas to expand outside of your list or outside of your network. Collaborations, it's a favorite one. We used to call it partnering, but what we really mean is coming in and working with somebody who has a tribe that overlaps with yours as much as possible, or your desired tribe as much as possible. And you basically put good content that is of value to that tribe, make your collaborator look good, and you get the ability to touch the folks who are in their tribe who are not in yours yet. Collaborations is one. And two, I am wondering whether making your survey widely available on platforms like LinkedIn, where you can create a little bit of traction outside folks that are immediately connected to you or to the members of your firm, will also work to expand your tribe. David, what do you think?
Yeah, well, you noticed the same thing I did off the bat, which is they reached out to their list to build their list, and that kind of didn't work. So it could have also just been in the way that they sent the note to us or the question
Right.
to us. 100% agree. This is list building, network building. We don't think about list building, but network building is collaboration's definitely your best friend. Borrowing other folks' tribes. I agree 100% with that. From our experience, I think what I would say is we've seen folks also make surveys that are interesting to them as consultants or as consulting
Mm.
firms. You create this survey, you think, well, this would be useful, but it's not right side up. It there's nothing immediately obviously helpful in it for the participant. Also make sure that there's some sort of win in it that's enough for them to take it. The other thing we've seen is sometimes these are a little too complex. and that you need to do it in stages. If you can make the first part just a couple of questions, that will be a lot easier. So those are a couple thoughts.
Love that. I think what you're saying, if I may, is make it so that it's a little investment for folks and
Yeah.
not a huge investment for folks taking the survey, and also so that they can perceive a return on the time they spent on it right away. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Minimize friction.
Right.
If you're trying
Beautiful.
to gain a new contact, 100%. I agree with that. All right. So I don't know whether Andrea is listening. If so, let us know whether that worked or didn't work, or helped or didn't help. What other questions do any of you have that are listening, either live or on the replay, related to that? Put it in the comments so that we know, and we can address your question. Or if you have none, say, David, Maria Isabel, that was perfect. We have no questions on that.
All right.
All right.
Deidre, why don't you share the next question that was presented? All right,
Ooh,
David,
wow.
this
Okay.
question is for you, and it's a long one. I like it. Okay, Jimmy says, about 4 months ago, I met someone that's interested in what my firm does. I thought we could help him ramp up into his new position, and we set a time to talk about that. He canceled because he thought it was premature to talk. He wanted to settle into his new position first. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We set a new time to talk 2 months later, but he pushed me off again, saying he's still getting a handle on where he needs consulting help. How should I re-engage him? I'm worried we're going to miss our window of opportunity.
Okay.
All right.
And Michael, thanks for the note.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, this is an interesting one. All right, so had conversation with this person. They starting new position. That sounds good. Then they push you off again. Allison, sounds familiar. Okay. I will tell you what it sounds like to me. Maria Isabel, you'll tell me whether it sounds the same thing to you. It sounds to me like, was this Jimmy who asked this? Was is going and selling. You are selling, or at least it's perceived by your contact that you're selling, because if someone says, I'll get back to you, I'm not sure where we need consulting help, that means the only time they want to have any kind of interaction with you is when they want to buy. They think that the only time you want to have interaction with them is when you want to sell. And that's problematic. It's not ideal, especially in this business where we're trying to create long relationships that over time may produce years and years and years of engagements, or introductions that lead to engagements, right? Where we're trying to create relationship wealth. So it feels a little bit like you've allowed this relationship to become feel transactional, in which case I think a bit of a relationship reset might be in order. And even a note saying, let's jump in a conversation so I can hear from you how it's going. Won't even, don't even need to talk about whether we can help or not. I just want to hear how the first month or so has gone. That's my knee-jerk reaction. What do you think, Maria Isabel?
I am with you. I think, John, James, thank you for your comment. Mike, thank you as well. I want to address your comments separately in a moment, Mike, because you've added a very interesting layer to it. Certainly, there's the unwritten expectation that the conversation is about supporting them formally in some sort of way. And that's a tall order, right? Especially as somebody's transitioning and they want to maybe get their foothold in, and they may not want to say, okay, the first thing we're going to do is bring in this party that is external to us. Like you, I think there's a change in the pattern that's needed, or in the classification of their relationship. I'm assuming, Jimmy, you don't want to talk to them just to sell them a project. I'm assuming there's a layer of interest in how are they doing. Their position is new, what's going on in their world, and can you add value in the context of a conversation? What it's at stake here, as you pointed out, David, is you may burn a bridge now that can preempt you from getting into a relationship later.
Right.
Right. And I think it ties in well, Mike, with what you shared. It's not only that you haven't heard from or where the person is saying this is not the right time to talk. So two kind of slightly different scenarios, right? If you haven't heard from somebody, you're striving for that connection.
Yeah.
If you've heard now it's not the right time, then that's where a lot of nuance also comes in. David, where do you land on that?
It's interesting in hearing you say this, I think there was a slight misstep when the initial pushback came. When that first delay said, I'm not ready yet, rather than letting it be pushed out 2 months, the a better response, which you don't know what's going to come back from the contact, would have been totally get that you're not ready to use us yet. Let's have a conversation anyway, just to talk about how your onboarding is going, because I'm interested, right? Stay interested in the person more than interested in winning business. Business will come. If you are in the right spot, you have high impact, you're focused on an urgent problem, business will come. So be interested in the people.
Okay. Which is what we advocate for, right? Connection comes first. And in a sense, this question relates to the previous one on the survey in that the bar is too high. Perhaps there's a question of, okay, this person is thinking, before I actually commit to a conversation, I need to know what it is I'm looking for. And I need to have a vision of where Jimmy can support.
Excellent. All right. There's I let this one resonate with a lot of people, so that's great. Any follow-up questions on this? Type them in. We only have a couple minutes. Let's see whether we can grab one more thing. Deidre, I don't know who's up. Is it me or you, Marie Isabel? Who wants to take this? You can take this. how do you walk the halls in the post-COVID virtual world? Is it harder than in pre-COVID? You can have that.
Thank you for asking, Matt. We do find that, yes, it is harder. And if somebody has a contrary opinion, we all want to hear it, right? If you have found that it's not harder for you and in the context of the work you do, then we love to hear that. We find that most people are remote and have gotten used to scheduling their time very carefully and with very well-defined kind of containment, right? So how do you walk the halls in this context? The first idea is be more purposeful about making a habit of asking for introductions. And, as folks within your clients, within the teams that you're working in, to introduce you to other members of their company, to other leaders, to folks that you've had an opportunity to hear about their work in the context of what you're doing. Just make a habit of you always ask for that introduction. It's useful for you because it's a muscle and you can develop it so that you're comfortable asking for the introduction. It's also useful for the folks who are on the receiving end because they'll think of you as somebody who wants to know more folks and who wants to engage and meet people in other parts of the organization. And eventually they'll think of making the introductions themselves. Where do you land, David?
Well, I think that's excellent advice. I think I land there. I think that will get people in the right direction. It's absolutely harder to walk the halls now than it used to be. And this brings us actually to the bottom of the hour. So there we go. You have spent another 15 minutes with us. Marie Isabel, I got to spend another 15 minutes with you. So thank you for that. Whether you're live or you're watching some replay, don't go yet. Because I want to remind you that if you don't have Monday Live in your calendar, davidafields.com/Monday Live, just put it in your calendar for every Monday. That way you come back and you get to spend time with us and we get to spend time with you. So do that. If you don't get the weekly articles, I don't know why. So make sure you're subscribed and get the weekly articles, and then write comments and join in the fray. And that's fun. I think that's it for announcements for the moment. Thank you for being here. Have a fabulous week. Remember, consulting is about them. It's about your clients. It's about your prospects. So give them value and give them kindness. Pay attention to them. And we will see you next week. Or Marisabel, you'll see them next week.
I will. That's the
Exactly
plan.
right.
Thank
All
you
right.
all.
Take care.
Bye. Thanks.